Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sognsdal Saga series, which is the series that I named it after the dynasty that we play as, the Sognsdal, which is named after the settlement of Sogndal, which is in Vestland, Norway. So, as you can see what Scandinavia looks like at this time of 875. Obviously still divided by many entities, but on our end we have controlled, what's the percentage of Norway? Well, it doesn't tell you by percentages, but I think you could figure it out. It says it has to be more than 50%. So I own 11 counties, and you need 16 out of 30. Which includes those lands further away from here, but it's more focused on the mainland here, rather than those islands out there. Because I'm not interested in those yet. So we're quite halfway there, a little more halfway there from reaching our goal to unite Norway, but soon we have another thing that's going to be focused on at this time. One, that we have recently increased the size of the Huskarls, and we will raid England again until this is fully reinforced, as the Bonde and the Vigman are fully reinforced, but I want the Huskarls to be reinforced, as they'll make easy work against the spearmen and archers. I mean, we had about 100 of them, and now we make it a little more numerous. And obviously, I've become a bit impatient on a certain thing that I've been wanting to do, in which we were hoping to have a Christian prisoner or two, but no, we're gonna have to sell it for you two, since you two aren't worth a damn to me. I mean, despite your martial skill, but we have far better people who could be better commanders other than myself. Don't you worry, there'll be a special plan for either of you two. So, this episode would be focused on, as time passes along, we will go on a raid to go down to England, which our first target would be in Canterbury again. Down in Kent, where there's great loot that is waiting for us. And then we would turn over to London, and as well as the surrounding countryside, to get as much loot as possible. But bearing in mind that Wessex is a stronger country than us militarily, then that's the reason why we want to increase the size of the Huskarls. Sometimes the bravery of these warriors of ours aren't always enough. So you got to think of some form of practicality. Not to mention we do not have a full complement of levies, which we're trying to work on increasing the size of it whenever we get more control. As much as I would like to spend my money on buildings, and yes, there was a missing persons event that happened in the previous episode, which was rather mysterious, given the circumstance. And in about 6 months, I will start befriending certain people, and unlocks a challenge to board game interactions, because the main priority for this episode is fame. We're almost to illustrious, and I want to get as much fame as possible. And in addition, I'd like to become a devoted servant. And that's going to be the main focus. Fame and piety. Yes. So as time will pass along until the Huskarl is fully reinforced, we're going to be spending quite a bit of money to hold this, the grand plot. It is high time for all of Gulathigslog comes together to make sacrifice to the gods. These rituals not only bind the faithful together, they confirm my place as Drottning of all the land. You will organize the Grand Vote, including deciding the scale of the festival, selecting what to sacrifice, even choosing one of your prisoners as a chief sacrifice. Which, what that is when holding a grand sacrificial festival, characters may designate one of their prisoners to be the primary sacrifice. This prisoner is killed first and may cause sacrifice to the character to gain more piety. Although preferable are landless characters whose faith are either hostile or evil. So we couldn't take any Christian prisoners, unfortunately, as much as I would like to have it. Or landed characters of at least count rank, and as well as a head of a faith, though this may have repercussions. Like, who knows? Like if somehow you were to capture the Pope, or the Ecumenical Patriarch, or the Coptic Pope, or even go all the way down to Baghdad and see if you can get the, not the Caliph, the Patriarch of the East. Just even those examples. Gaining or losing popular opinion and character depending on the tenets of my subject's faith. And you are going to be gaining piety because I am of that faith. So the requirements is you got to have a several county of any kind and the ability to do so. And you have to be an independent ruler, and your highest held title is greater or equal to kingdom rank. I mean, I am an independent ruler. This doesn't cost you money, although it will soon. It's going to cost you some prestige for this. In death, rebirth. Although smaller boards are held for many occasions through the year, once a decade of the Hedninga of the Gulas. Oh, here we go again. This of Gulathingslok, also known as Vestland, come together for a grand celebration and, most importantly, a grand sacrifice. Though plentiful blood is shed for the gods, the meat of the offerings goes to the faithful. Such a rich feast usually makes for an incredible party. Of course, such an affair is expensive, and certainly not all of them would need to be invited. Every lord and commoner in the Riki is invited. So that's step one in order to gain a little more piety. And not to mention, I may spend more money. But also, I'd like to go on a pilgrimage, as I'd like to become a devoted servant. Because keep that in mind, that these... Oh, it belonged to somebody else. He converted. Yep, that is Norseman, but he converted to Ruski Slavenska Pravda. So now he's a pagan. Bastard founder, and a genius too, and they call him the Stranger. Grandson of Ragnar Lodbrok. So that means, prowess per level of devotion will go up once I increase that level of devotion to make me fight better. As well as for, well, just for me. I mean, it does affect everybody else, but me in particular with a higher level of fame. That's what I would be more concerned of at the moment. Just get to work on developing that. Since you already got that back up, as to the way it was. Every little bit helps. Right? It adds taxes and a bit of levies, till you get it under full control. For all these areas. So now, it'll take some time to prepare for the grand sacrifice, and I'll decide which one of you two is going to be sacrificed. I mean, it's not up to me, it's up to the gods. It's up to fate. Ah, yes, this also happened in the last episode. Unfortunately, my eldest sister, Sigyn, who was a nice girl, she died in childbirth a few months ago. And this is my nephew, who is to be the heir of that neighboring realm over there, which will soon join us as our realm continues to expand, and as well as becoming militarily strong. Yes, I am quite stressed too at my sister's untimely. Yeah, it kind of affected me in quite a way. And yes, my mail armor is currently in the making. That's also what's going on here lately. Huh? A feast. Well, as much as I'd like to get a level of fame. Plus, you seem a reasonable man, despite the fact you broke a patrol, and not everybody likes that as a result, but hey, we can get along. So, then again, I'm quite personable, so I'll be there. Maybe this could help me to improve my diplomacy skill if needed. So, sure, I'll be there. Forced to cancel. Okay. Already in an activity. Unavailable for 9 years. Oh, you shouldn't have done that. This better be worth my time, because you made me cancel that grand sacrifice and everything's been refunded. As one plate of food is replaced by the next, my vassal here, Sir Magnus, goes on and on about trade routes. And that's how we salvage them. Are you sure I'm not boring you, my lady? No, please do go on. Every little bit helps. Here, Sir Magnus, now slight delay serving the food, and Dana looks ready to burst of frustration. In between grumbles of her stomach and only near grumbles displeasure. She's making a fool of herself. This character is exceptionally courteous and considerate of their hosts, wherever they may be. Every little bit helps regarding the diplomacy skill. My lady, my beneficiary Melkorka waves me over to a covered armor stand. She is trying hard to keep a professional demeanor, but I can see the fire in her eyes. She tells me that her work is done. With a flourish, she rips the fabric away as my eyes grow wide. While the chain links do not offer room for decoration, the fine work on the riveting sets this piece apart from the common mail. The set includes a spagon helm and a tail. The whole armor has been plated with a thick layer of gold. A tiny but elegant inscription runs on its side, dedicated to the stalwart friend Ástríðr. Wonderful. This would definitely help my prowess. What a feast! I'll remember the days spent in here, Sir Magnus Halls, for a long time to come. Now it's time to wash off the traces of merriment and wine, and once more resume my duties as Lady of the Realm. Farewell, my vassal. Okay. Let's try this again. Every Lord and Commodore Ricky is invited. We promised a grand vote, and we're gonna get it. And also, you may begin your raids now. If the other ones haven't pillaged them yet. Nope. It's ours for the taking. Yeah, we had to cancel it. By cancel, we mean we rescheduled the grand sacrifice, basically. Of course, it'll be you, Fauna. Unless we have a Reaver. No. Okay. Two months. Now I could use the befriend scheme, and unlocks the challenge to board game interactions, allowing to play friendly games with other characters. Which means swaying will no longer be necessary. The other alternative, he may be paranoid, but I don't know if befriending him is going to work because, I mean, he's a tad bit paranoid, but who knows? So I'll start that scheme. And at the same time, as a way to get us up closer to illustrious for the level of fame, besides the raid. You doing anything? No, not at the moment. Bjorn Ironside, son of Ragnar. He is in the army. Okay, maybe not him. How about you? You doing anything? No, he's at war. He wants this part. It's defending against. It's that one that wants this. Okay, how about, nope, also at war. Damn it. Everybody's busy these days. Well, there's this other realm that's quite viable. Another conquest one. This is your third attempt? He's bringing an ally this time. He's not in an army. Harold Tanglehair. This is the man who has a vow of Tanglehair. This character has issued a lifelong vow. They will neither cut nor brush their hair till they become the first king of Norway. That won't happen. Well, how do you like to play a little board game? Willing to wager for fame? Excellent. Because if I win, I gain fame. So, let's play that board game. So yeah, he's an actual historical character, mind you. He's not going to be the king of Norway. I am going to be the queen of Norway once it's united. Now, you people have seen in the previous series with the that Egypto-Sogdian series where sometimes see those board games, which is mainly chess. But this board game here is different. As I said, this board game is different because this is not chess. This is Hnefatafl. I'm not sure how to pronounce it myself. So now, Jotun Harald takes his seat opposite me. Our little game is about to begin, and a competitive grimace tells exactly how confident my acquaintance is. He goes first, opening with several well-executed adaptive strategies. We're neck and neck, although neither of us seem close to victory. Do you think the Hnefatafl is good practice for real administration? I questions my opponent. Well, always rather thought so. Not that I'm implying anything by it. So you got martial, intrigue, and prowess. This is what makes it different. This game, like war, is all manner of logistics. Use your high martial for it. So it is countered by intrigue if he pulls that off. So the possible outcomes is a critical success, which is a colossal amount of score towards winning. Success, some score. Failure, a few crumbs of score. Or a critical failure, absolutely no score towards winning. Our match marches on. Now they're continuing with highly compelling, persuasive argument. We're neck and neck and near us close to victory. Ah, if only public speaking was as easy as beating you at this game. He remarks my opponent. Let's try this prowess, although it's countered by martial magic. This isn't working. Arm wrestle for it. Match marches on. Oh, there's continuing with a decent move and a firm grip. We're neck and neck, and neither of us are even close. Still even. Honestly, Waxman, I'm impressed you're playing as well as you are, considering who you're up against. Whatever you say, Tangleair. My martial mind makes me unbeatable. Oh, match marches on and continuing a series of devastatingly innovative strategic plays. Naturally, my techniques cunningly follow my opponent. I'm in the lead for now, and this game is rapidly coming to a head. This is a sudden death round. If this were a real battlefield, declares my opponent, things would have been going differently. Well, I have to use my best skill. If you try to move that piece, you're getting decked. Yo, howling best of triumph, it leaps up to his feet. I have lost. My hands slipped down on my knees, searching for support. Am I that bad at this? Honestly, I think that was a mistake on my part. Don't you know he has a martial education, so he used that martial move to counter against my prowess. I should have used intrigue, honestly. But knowing her, she would say, you've made an enemy here today. Although, honestly, it is my mistake. A bad call on my move. You and I are going to have a rematch one day. And that would come next year. Remember, next year, we have a rematch. Stupid! Stupid! You should have used this intrigue move that counter gets up. I mean, martial was his go-to. That's why it was so evenly matched. He was using his best skill, and I just used my instinct. I used mine. Yeah. But anyways, we got a grand sacrifice to perform. While our men go out and raid England. But keep in mind, they got a powerful army out there. And I'll be there when it's needed. A VIET can be both a grand and small affair. By tradition, they also include both human and animal sacrifice. Several prisoners will be offered to the gods, perhaps an even special choice of my own, their lives given in a tribute to the gods. Though the beliefs of the demand this, it is not actually a strict requirement, and the ceremony can proceed with purely animal sacrifice if I wish to avoid controversy. It's like you could choose this, or some of this, but no. Only the finest sacrifice will do, man and animal alike, so I'm willing to spend more money on this. Opinion and popular opinion gained with the faithful will be as high as it can be. Subjects that do not endorse human sacrifice will lose ample opinion and popular opinion. Especially if you do that if you were Jorvik up there. 250 powder will be gained at the point. Optionally, you may designate a chief sacrifice amongst your prisoners. Too bad we don't have any Christian prisoners, so one of you two's got to decide, but seeing that you're ill right now, guess we'll make a sacrifice out of you yet, because you are sick. So now, of course, his opinion will drop because you're going to be sacrificed soon, and will be executed in 3 months' time. Although you can change your mind at any given time within the next 3 months, so you've got till December the 4th to decide. I should be able to help along my attempt to befriend Jotun of my presenter, but again, brings me close to my goal. This coin well spent. No, the scheme power I'm willing to. No, I don't want to come on too strong. There's the big loot. Now keep in mind, he's not at war, so he'll be engaging our forces soon. Now head up to London. You ought to be careful when you go over there. There's no defender advantage, but it's out there. It is the 11th of November, 45 days. One who's married to him. If you happen to capture any Christian prisoners, then we're gonna switch to someone else as a grand sacrifice. Unless there's gonna be a battle coming up and then, oh well, then the sick man is going to be the one that's to be sacrificed, you know, put him out of his misery. So he can be with the gods and feast with the gods. And to fight along with his fellow warriors, his comrades, all that. Interpreting my recent friend has signed, has come to me with concern for one of my prisoners. It would please you greatly if you were to release my acquaintance Scholar from his house arrest, he says, sneering. I'm sorry, I cannot. No, never. Of course, that's going to knock you down on a percentage of actually befriending the guy. Because he's designated to be sacrificed, so I will not release him. Sorry, no prisoners. It's not the way of saying no mercy, it's just we didn't get any. This one's got a large amount of loot over there. That explains it. Well, Scully, you're gonna be sacrificed, and I'll enjoy every moment of it. The guests at the bloat are so numerous that they blanket the area around the temple, sending up a cacophonous roar as scholars hauled up to the altar. The very first in a long line of men and beasts stretching far out of the doors. He thrashes ferociously as the Hofgana throttles his life away, the light in his eyes lasting till the first animal is slaughtered, human corpses to the hanging tree, animals to the cooking fires. All gore is collected in a bowl, and a Hofgana uses to use it to paint the walls of the temple inside and out. Truly a spectacle worthy of the gods. I mean, I've been under a lot of stress lately, but since I'm zealous, I will say to Odin, to Freya, to Njorda. So, look, you lose 98 stress because you're zealous. And Asta respects me a lot more as she is pleased. And I would gain a large amount of piety for this, but I wish we had a Christopher to do this, but perhaps in the next decade we should do that. See? She loves the gods because religious conviction burns bright at the center of Ástríðr. You better come back with that large amount of loot whenever you get out of here unscathed. Because I got plans. Other alternate means to get more fame. You're going after this area next. No prisoners. We're just only raiding the S6 countryside. Why haven't they come out yet? We know they have a larger army than ours. Remember, next year, switch to intrigue. I only wanted to get the befriend perk and the ability to play board games. And speaking of board games, remember the rematch, if he's willing. Oh, there they are. Stop, stop, stop. Get out of the open. Oh, definitely get the hell out of here. That's Alfred. He's amongst the best. But however, he's not the heir to the realm. That's his son that will be succeeding him. Get out, out, out. To the wetlands. Because I'm a rough terrain expert. You get a bit more advantage in wetlands. And on unit defender. Yeah. I'll get him moving faster. Because I have this organized march. Get to the wetlands. Yep, they're tracking us down. But hey, if you win this battle, there's a lot more fame where that's gonna come from. But Alfred is a better commander than me, so that is rather pretty scary thought. There's no neutral ground here, but use the wetlands. But remember, you got this armor now where not only my prowess is increased, but a bit more prestige gain, and a slight percentage up for the knight effectiveness. We hope you all live through this, because it's about to get nasty. Because not only they have a large amount of levies, they got a pretty good amount of their warriors they have there, including Alfred himself. If we kill him during the battle, then they would have no more commander advantage. But the ones we should watch out for is the heavy infantry called the Thane, which they're good against heavy infantry and spearmen, but they prefer to fight in higher terrain. We faced those skirmishers before. They're good at everything, but they are not good in dry wetlands. So this is why we chose to fight here in the wetlands, because difficult terrain could be a powerful tool for those able to utilize and gain an upper hand in battle. Our Huskarls, well, this doesn't favor this terrain. Neither in these. Same for here, it doesn't favor any of it. So this is considered neutral ground here. But if it says we may lose, then we may lose, alright? We'll probably lose, but we will be defending in wetlands as we stated before. This is neutral ground. I may have more commander traits, but if we lose this battle, then let's just hope that that man, Alfred, he has to get killed. He has heightened soldier morale. He has an innovative strategy, which is why they've been moving so damn fast. All that doesn't really matter. This is his country, you know. Learning about snail slime. And he's killed a man before. He slain a berserker one time. This was during that period when Jorvik was going after Northumbria and other entities. They even took Cornwall. The only way that we will win this battle is that Alfred has to be wounded or killed, preferably killed, because he doesn't have as good prowess skill as compared to the other ones. And yet the king of Wessex isn't leading the army. We may lose all what we have gained. The Thaner is going to be the one that's going to be really killing us. He has more advantage than we do. Well, we're giving him more casualties than we do, but bravery alone isn't going to do it. Something's got to give. He also has unyielding defender, just like me. It all depends on the, the dice rolls as well. His innovative strategy, these rolls. Faith hostility advantage is another thing that I have. Which is, again, I've studied this old battle from long ago, so I do have a bit of a Faith hostility advantage. But it's a good thing we're not fighting in force, because some of theirs are pretty good at the old forest fighting. No, you're thinking of us, not them. Getting more advantage now. He made a bad roll. This may be a close one. We killed one of theirs. He was a decent fighter. Got his head ripped off by his Hey, kill one of them, and then they won't cause as much casualties to one of ours. There goes another one. That was Thorum. We got him. Made a good call there. Retreat to the wetlands. Neutral ground, at least. Neutral to the English, and because their units are not familiar with fighting in that kind of terrain, and yet I am. But this is all the loot that we're going to be bringing back home too, so Father, take him home. We suffered enough. As they're on their way back. It's good that they did most of the killing, along with all the others. So yeah, out of that battle, here's here, and my sister-in-law and seneschal became berserkers. Knew you had it in you. And plus, how much prestige was gained on that? And a piety. Well done. Well done. He just became a poet recently. My men learned from the survivors during the siege of Harald. No, that the nobility of Harald wrote on. No, there's a letter way. Humiliated in chains. Those bastards. What were you doing up there? Oh, you're allied to this entity, and now that war that you took part of. Well, you made it your business. Hey. Okay, maybe I should play a board game with somebody else, or... Let me see. How'd you like to play board game? Because I want that fame. We'll be illustrious soon. And we will soon use that great wealth that we will just earn. Thorfinn takes seat opposite me. Our little game is about to begin, and a curling pal tells me how exactly confident my acquaintance is. He goes first, opening with a robust attempt at a coherent strategy. We're neck and neck, and neither of us is close to victory. I really love that. No matter what strategy I settle on, you always lose just as hard, cups my opponent. He's more of a man of intrigue, so he may use that to his advantage. Because I figured he's going to be doing this a lot. So, I'll have you. Our match marches on, continuing with an obvious trap. Blast it, somehow this man counters every stratagem I employ. I'm in the lead for now, though neither of us is close to victory. I'm growing quite bored of whines my opponent. Can we play something else? I don't think he has that good of prowess, but I'll just innocent whistling. Our match marches on. You could tease a variety of cunning baits and ploys. Somehow this man seems counter-strategy to employ. Still in the lead. Are you using that counter stratagem again? You are so cheap. What's up with this personality? This isn't working. arm wrestle for it? With a roar, I surge to my feet, scattering pieces everywhere. The game is mine. Another fine victory of my indisputable rise towards the king of games, the queen of games. Thus, Thorfinn remained seated, his hands on his hunches, trying to comprehend where he went wrong. How does it feel to lose, little man? There we go, the combination of that and the loot that we just bought. We got enough to fund a great expedition, but however, I'm going to need to save a little more money for that. And this is what that episode is going to be focused on. It's this decision that I've been wanting to do for some time. Now stay here, reinforce yourselves, and you are going to return to England to raid and loot some more. Just get your men-at-arms back at the strength. And maybe perhaps if you're skilled, we could get extra taxes. Is Frankia busy? No, they're not. Lotharingia? Yes. It's been ongoing for 2 years now. Okay, we found our next place to loot. Damn it, I was thinking Holland would be the next territory. 1 second. No, they only took one. There's plenty of loot in the lands of Holland, so Holland will be the target. Stand still and keep getting reinforced here. Unfortunately, it seems the differences and distance between him and me are simply too great to overcome, regardless of my determination. After all the time that I spent trying to gain his trust, he has shown no change in his attitude towards me. I'm afraid there's nothing much left I could do to bridge the gap between us this point. Our friendship is just not what meant to be. I know, we could have succeeded it, but it's that whole sacrifice thing that you just say, no, I wouldn't do that, because part of that's paranoid. Plus, I'm zealous. I can't really be seducing people at the moment. Next August. Okay? So we can't get him in at the moment. So go befriend somebody else. Other cultures tolerated. Other faiths tolerated. The superstitious man. How about befriend this total foreigner? He's shy, arbitrary dislike, zealous, and he's further away. Surprised he hasn't made it a kingdom entity yet. Hey, just simply for the sake of it, since you don't have much friends, I mean, the only two friends are here at court, but there's this man. I like to befriend him. It's guaranteed. Just something to do. Because I always have a thing for this man. Once your men-at-arms full of strength, you're going down and you are going to raid Holland. And once you are done with Holland, come back up here. Okay, one more month. And then come back up here, and we're going to use this newfound wealth to explore the seas west of Iceland. Because I've been hearing those rumors about something beyond over there. After this third attempt, he's gonna finally get it. Oh, that realm just formed. Sorry. Now it's a proper kingdom. Svithiod is now a larger kingdom. Nadalpad has joined, and soon Orgamanaland will join that realm as well as this and this. Probably not Gjotaland. Also, you're supposed to... God bless it. You should get a tiny bit of levies. Now, go! If Lotharingia hasn't finished their war yet. Judging by the size of that realm, the way it looks like they got a powerful army, so maybe we should rethink that. Is anybody else at war? Jorvik's at war. Ah, of course, Jorvik. No, that place has been looted. That was my next target. Ireland's too poor. Unless you want to raid there. Hey, they're about to finish building and there's going to be some loot. Okay. Cornwall first. You're originally going to... Well, actually, where's their army based in? Most of the Lotharingian army's up there. So I think Holland it is then. Just temporary. Now Ástríðr's lootable. Okay, now it's Holland. Take a drink. It'll be around 250 gold. That's what I'm saving up for before I will enact this decision. Remember, August 25th, switch of focus. I only needed just one perk from the diplomacy tree. Then I'll move out to intrigue. Fort level's high. Just noticed that. I must still let down. That's one of his fighters. Finally, our first Christian prisoner. When we bring him here, keep him under house arrest, because I doubt that he would want him. Greedy and unimportant. Good. That means he's never going to want that man back. Down to Utrecht. this way's more valuable. War's over. They're gonna be on their way back soon. That'll take you 2 years. Won't be long now. There's so much good loot up there. Okay, after that, then you are going to turn this way up north, loot that, and then get out. Because you do not want to stick around when the Laringian armies are out there. Where's their capital again? Here, at Ba. They'll probably be back before you finally get... I mean, you should have done reconnaissance in advance. A physician now. 70 years old and you are still in good health and you're no longer malnourished. My goodness, you probably live up to 100 with that kind of life. This way. So just raid 2 more areas, possibly 3. I mean, we're the only ones that are doing the looting. And no doubt that they're going to be on their way back. Well, we can't see them at the moment. Would have loved to raid Aachen, but that won't do. Okay, just raid 1 more. I think I'm becoming cautious now. It'll be close to 100 anyway. So yeah, after that, get back home. And then you rest up while we explore. And after that, then we will resume a conquest to unify Norway. Oh, bingo. A fellow Norseman who is a Christian. But still. You traitor. How much were you willing to pay? All that you have. Very well then. Okay. Return home now. We're about to finance the exploration. And we'll see who's going to be the volunteer to be the explorer. Kunga Bjorn has been uncharacteristically friendly towards me lately. If this change of tone is a scent of a change of character, perhaps he could be convinced to release my acquaintance Villemunda from captivity. He's a wanderer. I don't know that man. I don't know that man at all, but he's a poet, but Bjorn Ironside, if you want to be my friend, please release him. He's paid 40 gold. Despite all his pretense of friendliness, he's refused to release him. There are other ways, my acquaintance. Oh, really? They only had 2,000 men? We could have just stayed here and looted the rest, but I don't care. We got good enough loot. And plus, they need to rest up and let the levies increase. and then we'll be back on the offensive. So loyalty is appreciated. And I'll stop. I know we're going to be stopping short, but I only want this, and that's it. And as for the intrigue, because of the current age that I'm in, and I have no children of my own, whereas Brynjolf already has a child. Into learning. Correct. I'm actually going to go for a temptation focus, seduction, desire, and a gentle art of twisting people around your little finger. I'm not trying to go for a seducer here. Fertility is not the issue here. It's just more I'm using this as an excuse while I focus on getting schemer perks. It's more of who she is. I mean, even though if I were to seduce somebody, it would be someone that I know closely. As soon as you reach, I mean, it'll be 25 days till it gets here. Unpressed claim on this area. We don't need that. That's what conquests are for. Hey, are you still in that war? Oh no, he took it back. He got an ally. Oh, smart. He took a neighbor. Which is, again, it's part of this, not Norway. It's really smart of you. Alright, you've earned your rest. And now let's make it official on October 1st. This is what we came here for, ladies and gentlemen, for this episode. A few sailors claim to have sighted a large landmass to the far west after their ships were blown off course while sailing to and from Iceland. Could there be more land out there? No one has dared to formally explore this area. But maybe I'm willing to take the risk by funding a great expedition to the west. What is a great expedition? Unlike normal expeditions, I mean, there's going to be a lot more exploration here. Great expeditions are major journeys of exploration, corresponding to important historical events such as Eric the Red's discovery of Greenland, or Leif Erikson's voyages to Helluland, Markland, and Finland. Only the one can be active at a time, so... If successful, you will earn prestige, and a colonization of Greenland will begin as Greenland is discovered, and your family automatically establishes the first estate there. Again, all this will be explained to give out more details. During the next 3 months, you will gather people and supplies to prepare. You can ask a courtier to lead this great expedition, or hire a randomly spawned leader instead for 50 gold. That's the reason why I said save it up for it. You cannot have an ongoing normal expedition, and only one great expedition can be active globally at the time. Costs for this decision are reduced for rulers whose cultures are of Northern, which is Norse, or Godadak, which is Celtic heritage. If the decision to convene Iceland's first Althing has been taken, which if you happen to be Iceland, that's another way to reduce it. Now, the historical context. The two Finland sagas, written in the 13th century, are our main accounts of the Norse voyages to the Americas. Due to their fantastical, contradictory details, they are not reliable sources. Scholars questioned if the Norse were even in Americas until the Lands of Middo, an archaeological site in Newfoundland, was discovered in 1960. Leif Erikson, a Christian convert and son of Greenland's discoverer Eric the Red, is often seen as the first Norse explorer to properly set foot on the Americas. But the sagas differ on the nature of his voyages, assuming these sagas have any degree of truth to them. As a reminder of you people, your capital in Keyword capital has to be anywhere on this outline. Norway, and that includes a little bit of Sapmi or Lapland, most of Scotland, Northern Ireland, Dublin, Jorvik or York, and London. It has to be any one of these. And if you are not either of these two heritages, then it's going to be more expensive to spend it to try to explore the seas out west. And your fame has to be illustrious, and also either that or a kingdom or an empire. And I mean, we're surprised that Alba has not enacted this decision, because they were probably busy or just do not have enough money. But we do, and we don't need to be a kingdom for it. Onwards to a grand adventure. Now, planning the great expedition. A journey 1,000 miles begins with one step, or in this case, one direction. I decide to sponsor a great expedition to the western seas, and to see whether there is any truth to these stories that there's this great landmass out there, west of Iceland. The first thing I need to do is select someone capable and adventurous to lead this expedition. Some of my courtiers have expressed interest in leading this expedition. I certainly appreciate their desire for adventure. Additionally, a local by the name of David has heard of my plans and has offered his service to me. I have it on good word that he has some experience traveling across many lands, so he could be an option for the expedition's leader too. We're not talking about this one. This one. I'm looking at their skills and personality, see if it really matters. Brave is probably a good way to have an explorer. Really? Diligent, impatient, arrogant. David, the antiquarian, is the right man for this task. I will give that to him. He's fearless. For many years, there have been rumors about the vast landmass to the west of Iceland. Still, no one has dared to invest in any sort of risky adventure as to ascertain whether such stories are true, until now. News is traveling across the northern seas and about an expedition sponsored by Drottning Ástríðr to explore the seas west of Iceland and search for new lands. The expedition will be led by a certain adventurer named David. If these lands exist, and they prove to have territory which could be settled, then there is no doubt that Ástríðr will be among the first to establish her family's presence there by finding a settlement. Is history about to be made? Assuming this great expedition succeeds, the decision to explore the seas is permanently unavailable for other rulers in the Nordic Seas region. Really? You're taking an awful risk. I hope I picked the right man for the job. Assuming this great expedition succeeds, but we don't know how long this will take. They say... Well, who's they? Those sailors that were blown off course? That's who they you were talking about? I really need to get this man back on my side, because I can't befriend him. Oh, I got an idea. Once I finish befriending the Englishman here, maybe I should romance him. Even though he's my brother-in-law, but... I mean, don't make him love her, just make him feel happy. Just increase his opinion. That's what I should do. Yes. Keep your money in handy, because you may never know what would be needed once they explored out there beyond Iceland. The Great Expedition said, oh, this was a preparation phase. Good God. Good gods. Today's the day. The Great Expedition I sponsor is about to set sail for the western seas to see if there's any great landmass to the west of Iceland. David, my chosen leader for this expedition, says he is confident in the crew, assuring that he will do his utmost to make note of any new lands he discovers. Particularly, we might be able to settle such lands in the future. We eagerly await your turn. So he has now gained a trait that adventuring in the western seas. He cannot have children and he may not marry. Like he's ever interested in family life. Plus, he's sterile. He can't give life. But what he will give his life for is a life of adventure. And he's a poet too, so maybe he will write something about it. He fears nothing. So, he will explore the western seas for at least a year, and possibly a little longer. And it creates the expedition to the west activity in Hnefatafl. I was about to say, where does it say that in Hnefatafl? As an activity. After long thinking, I finally decided to invite Smid to come on a tour to one of my estates in Yada. The visit turned out to be an even better idea than I expected. Not only did he offer some unexpected insight to the matter of his estate, he also kept my mood bright the entire time. He's not only my armada, but my friend. This trip was worth the effort. So we bonded during a visit to, Yada. We mentioned that place before. Two things. Let's play a board game. Oh. You and your paranoia. He would like to win with me. Come on. You and your damned paranoia. I'll romance him, but here's the thing. I'm not going to become a soulmate. Not my intention. This is just to please him a little. The time has come to let my feelings towards it be known. I want him to remember this day for the rest of my life. I'll impress her by winning a sparring match because, that's her thing. I recruit one of my most senior soldiers set out and we practice our routine each day's ride. Once we arrive, we begin to spar at the main courtyard. A crowd gathers, and their cheers soon draw none other than the winsome trotting of the soldier fights valiantly, but I disarm her with a final flawless thrust. I kneel before her and declare my noble intentions. I dedicate this victory to you, my lord. Bringing you honor is my only desire. My beloved is speechless, but clearly flattered. Why else be smiling thusly? He won't resist my charms for long. Well, in the meantime, go play some board games with somebody else who is not at war and not leading an army. And since you're trying to be nice to me, this is for money this time. I'm wagering my wealth for his. He takes his seat opposite me. Our little game's about to begin. A coiling felt tells you how confident my acquaintance is. He goes first, opening a decent move and a firm grip. We're neck and neck, though. Neither of us is close to victory. Honestly, waxes my opponent, I'm impressed you're playing as well as you are, considering who you're up against. Yes, son of Ragnar. But clearly, I think I can outmatch you. My martial mind makes me unbeatable. Our match marches on, beyond continuing with several well-executed dive strategies. Naturally, my techniques cunningly form up on. I'm beating him handily, though neither of us is even close to victory. My opponent stares intently at the board. I must have miscalculated somewhere. Stab the board. Beyond continues a decent move and firm good. Blast! This man seems to counter every strategy I employ. I'm in the lead for now. The victory is so close I can taste it. If this were a real battlefield, things would be going differently. I play this game like I fight, savagely. Give me the money. And since you're trying to befriend me, I'll just say, I'd love to play again sometime. He agrees that it was a good game. Close to forming a friendship. What's going on over there? Denmark has been formed, but he's still at war with what's his name? Sigurd Snake in the Eye, another son of Ragnar. I will put the conquests for the rest of the coastal parts of Norway on hold until the expedition is complete. I never expected I would grow close to Bjorn Iron's side, as I've done in the past few years. On multiple occasions, he's proven himself a reliable and forthright man, with only my best interests at heart. It is rare to so find a true friend. Bonded over a heartfelt conversation about what makes life worth living. Been making a lot of friends lately. Glad you took your time. Favorite handkerchief? Arguing neighbors? I am in a village of my realm where I come across a commotion. Two peasant women arguing with each other. They stand over a small cabbage patch, screaming obscenities and waving their hands wildly. I do not understand the context of this ruckus at first, but I notice my guide rolling his eyes. He is one of the prominent locals and the unofficial leader of the village. That lady right over there has been claiming that her neighbor, the lady on the left, intentionally stomped over her crops the other day, he explains to me. The lady on the left claims she's being framed. But honestly, I don't give a hoots about it, as they love to argue about everything. They might as well be a married couple. They are not worth the trouble. Let me show you the watchtower you're supposed to inspect. Perhaps I can help them talk things out. It's worth a try, because I have the diplomacy skill to do it. So again, resolved an argument between the two peasants. Simply for the sake of it. That strange sensation comes to me again. All of a sudden, I feel as if somewhere someone just said something unflattering about me. They occupied the capital. And captured his heir. The rain is pouring outside. My serene Jonathan for his size as he looks out the window. How wretched Galadal can be. I wish I had someone to keep me company during long, dreary days. Is my spring blossom a cat or a dog person, I wonder? Well, since he wears a fox cap, which he probably had, but he was probably a hunter in his day, so I'll say a loyal dog would make an excellent companion. He adores the dog, so the dog is yours. Because we need more talented fighters here. Especially berserkers. Because we know one of our men, yeah, he's out exploring. Venturing the West Seas, that's what he's doing now. Attending his expedition in the West, that's what that is. A fireside story. Come closer. I have a story I wish to tell you. My friend, Bjorn Ironside says, beckons me towards the bonfire. It is a story when I commanded and won the battle of Zemgale against Rixi of Zemgale. He was my acquaintance, who was slain in battle by Haraldr Sigurdsson Akra. Bjorn puffs his chest, continues to tell the story as the flames from the bonfire lick the night sky. Hone your skills, your prowess, and your wit in battle, Ástríðr, and you will have enemies without bounds. Train so you can best them. What a story, Bjorn. Up that prowess skill just a bit. That little fireside story thing, that's part of the Northern Stories event, with the whole characters tell each other stories, increasing skills. And it also is for cultures that has the storytellers cultural tradition, which I believe it's, which one of those people that has it? This one, for example, the Mara, they have storytellers. And later on in this series, much later in the series, that when we become the Norwegians, they will have storytellers. The latest work of my acquaintance, the Tango Hair, has come all the rage at court, lady. This piece is dedicated to my impeccable behavior and righteous reputation. A saint in Tunsberg, while some others behind. False virtue high, this woman is a paragon, cannot be denied. Giving glory unto Odin's as she prays, she will one day be free of the mortal world's malaise. So far I kept my thoughts to myself, but the buzz has grown too dramatic to ignore for much longer. I like that one, Heidi. I can see this is truly heartfelt. Thank you. That is like me, because I'm zealous. I think I know what to do next. While the romance scheme's ongoing, and it's not going to be till another year till this succeeds, just to increase his opinion. I'm not here to make him a soulmate. I don't want to lay with him, because that'd be a bad idea. Because don't you know, that stuff is criminal? Even though I'm an independent ruler, so it won't matter. It's just, it's a sin to do so. Everything that you do in these crime doctrines is considered criminal and offensive to the gods. So be careful. And speaking of the gods, and this is what I'm going to do next, go on a pilgrimage. The holy sites are the places in our world that are closest to the gods. The scene for myself is to prove my dedication as prepare for the journey. It's time for me to set out on my journey to one of the holy places. But which one? I know exactly. The site at Sigtuna. Pilgrimage to Svithiod. As I prepare for my journey, I know that I will travel safely under the protection of the gods. While I go with the powerful, my realm must wait, however long I may be gone. It's time to depart. Uppsala, that is where we're going. There. Temple of Uppsala, even though there's also that over there. Just technically where that is. It's time to depart. The Temple of Uppsala serves as a religious center for large parts of Scandinavia. A sacred tree stands near the temple, next to a well, similar to that of the legendary Yggdrasil. That's why I'm going over there. From one end of Scandinavia to another. Out here, late at night, I sometimes look to the stars and wonder, can the gods even see me this far from home? What am I doing all this for? What I truly want to see is foreign lands. Worldly pilgrimage. Up a bit of diplomacy. Because that's your second best skill. Trusty. Another berserker. We need more berserkers. Full occupation. So you have fully occupied the realm that has opposed you, despite the fact that they've taken your capital. So that was a close call for Upland. Upland. I am finally here, body and soul at the great temple of Sigtuni. As the Hofgode offers me blessings, I reflect on everything that has had to happen for the gods to bring me here. At this moment in time, I have walked the holy path. Ástríðr has completed a pilgrimage to a holy site. Now she's a devoted servant. After all, she is a zealous religious woman that loves her gods. That reminds me. You're going to be in house arrest for a long time. But as for you, as compared to the other people we have these days, I'm going to have to execute you. This is just to sacrifice you. Just to gain a little bit of piety for this. My journey's been a long one, but I've finally come home again. While much remains the same, something has changed out of Hofgode and a Hofgode. Treat me. I've undergone a journey to a holy one, and they insist it has changed something about me, where I consider myself or not. It is good to be home. There is no man lovelier than Jotunov. In his presence, my words often fail me. None of my compliments ever do him justice. Perhaps a carefully crafted poem would better capture his virtues? I'll write about his, oh dear. Knowing he's a generous man, I'll say kind and feeling heart. A strange noise. I arrived back at my stronghold after a long, lonely walk. I'm fresh off from a pilgrimage. Another year passed, another year older. I was born this day 31 years ago. Well, approximate, because we don't know the character's birthday. The older I get, the more I cherish the relationships I cultivated over the years. So it saddens me that I've not heard from my Seloffer Asta, or any of my other friends today. I trudge along to my chambers, loneliness impeding my lazy feet, when I hear a clang and hushed whispers from down the hallway. Who could that be at this hour? Happy birthday! What a surprise! All my nearest and dearest friends have come together to wish me whilst I begin this next year of life. There's even an entire table laden with pomegranate cakes, my favorite. Here I was, thinking that everyone had forgotten about me. I cannot believe that Silver Smith went to all the trouble in arranging this in secret. I had not had a clue to such a thoughtful surprise was being planned at all. My friend Asta approaches me, struggling to carry 3 beautifully wrapped packages. Ever the trickster, she says. I've got 3 gifts here for the choosing. One shall be yours, but which shall it be? Based on my experience, biggest one is typically a weapon artifact, which I already have, and I want this sword to remain with me at all times, no matter how better weapons there are these days. A small gift could be a trinket. A medium-sized one could either be a trinket or a court artifact, so I'll take the medium-sized one. It'll be perfect. A quail's eggshell gem. A cuttable piece of eggshell plastic is a gem. I'll equip it when the time is right. To the noble Jotun Ástríðr, your oval face is the rock I cling on to in stormy seas. I wish to only have you close that I may know the depths of your love, my darling Ástríðr. You must have liked my poem. Again, I would love to play a friendly game with him so we can have an increased opinion. That's what I want out of him. Befriending didn't work. Because combination of paranoid and didn't really improve anything for the scheme power. I should have been more personable next time. What have these other realms been doing lately? Nothing. The Greenlandic divergence. Small changes in dialect, slightly different customs. It was easy to miss at first. Over time, small changes have led to large ones. However, now the Northmen living in the have begun to identify themselves as Greenlandic instead. With their outlook towards life fundamentally unchanged, the differences between the Greenlanders and the Nordmen seem to be more political than anything else. But the fact remains that divisions of tradition, policy, and borders have transformed one group of people into two. Whether out of skillful manipulation or genuine desire to lead his people to new era, Tryggvi's positioned himself as the leader of this cultural awakening. We'll see how this situation develops. Greenlandic. Have a look at it real quick before anything else. They are like us in a way. Hit and run tacticians, prolific hunters, recognition of talent, experienced whalers. Greenland discovered. This is why it popped up. There are ordinary adventurers and travelers who are often forgotten after their deaths, and there are those whose glory and fame will live on in future legends for centuries and centuries to come. Today there is no doubt that David is one such legendary explorer. He has returned in triumph, confirming there is indeed a vast land of the forest, which he calls Greenland. He claims the name is a clever way to attract settlers. Although Greenland is a harsh, remote land, it is also one full of opportunities. David has already founded 2 settlements in the more arid parts of Greenland under my name, with the aid of the Norse settlers who are now identified as Greenlanders. David also reports about the large numbers of walrus in Greenland's northern reaches. If we could find a good way to hunt them systematically, we could make handsome profits back in Europe, where the demand for ivory is high. This is a birth of a new era in the North Atlantic. So, you gain 500 prestige for this. Activate established Greenland estate catalyst, which is okay, here it is. This is going to be a lot of reading, so this is going to cover for the rest of this episode. The Greenland estate, if the colonization of Greenland is still ongoing or has been resolved with a good ending, rulers of the Nordic Seas region can take the decision to establish a family estate in Greenland. This adds the family estate in Greenland modifier to your house, and more importantly unlocks many decisions and mechanics related to Greenland. While this modifier is active, every member of the house will receive small amount of gold, prestige, piety every year. It is possible to lose these resources, though this won't be as common unless Greenland colony is in the subsistence and marginalization phase, and or if Greenland's resilience or networks are low. So our house has gained a family estate in Greenland, so we are participating in the colonization of Greenland by maintaining an estate there. So Greenlandic language becomes Northern. What has happened is he's no longer adventuring, now he's an explorer. So he has earned a fame as someone who has traveled far and wide to explore strange new worlds and seek out new civilizations and boldly go where no one has gone before. So for him, he gets +1 learning, prowess, diplomacy per level of fame up, a little more diplomatic range if he were a landed ruler, along with the naval speed and learned language scheme power. Just for that, you have earned yourself a lot of fame for this, and you are the discoverer of Greenland. So he's led a grand expedition to the seas west of Iceland, discovering new land which they named it Greenland. Having accomplished such a glorious feat, they have earned a spot in the history books. So as expedition ends, Greenlandic becomes involved in the colonization of Greenland, and the colonization of Greenland started in the settlement phase. Took a drink. David's voyage paved a way for others to partake in a colonization of the land he named Greenland. Those who settled in these distant, cold shores will surely reap great profit and influence if they control the exports of luxury goods such as like walrus ivory. Will House Sognsdal be destined to sail Greenland as well, and are there even more lands beyond waiting to be discovered? Now I am one of the involved participants in the colonization of Greenland. The region is currently in the phase of settlement. Your actions and those of other participants will determine the future phases of the struggle and its ending. Inspect each of the icons to view its first phase. So this is different from the Iberian struggle for those of you people who watch Crusader Kings 3 for a living to know how this works. So this is different. During wartime, the effects of it is slightly reduced mercenary hire cost, and friendly territory level reinforcement rate are up a bit more. This would definitely help us as we're increasing the size of our military before we will return to unification of Norway. For the culture, promote culture proceeds faster within the struggle region, and granting a title to a local noble provides prestige. For the faith, converting it into an involved faith is less expensive. Interfaith marriages are available between involved characters, and the opinion for different faiths are up a bit. So I don't know if that means in theory we could ally with some of those English people who are not of our faith. I mean, I don't know. But I'm sure it'll probably have a similar mechanic like they've done down in Iberia. Which again, I never played Iberia during when they added that struggle thing. And others include, oh dear, common other effects. Resilience increases by a random amount between -3 up to a 5 every year. Same for the networks. And for the effects of those involved, when taking the decision to organize hunting trips to Nordsetor, the chances of a failed hunt, as well as the hunt's negative impact to Greenland's resilience, is less compared to the subsistence and marginalization phase. Plus 10% chance of success when taking a decision to organize a hunting trip to there. When taking a decision to organize a hunting trip, the minimum and maximum gold you can earn is more than in the subsistence and marginalization phases. If you lose gold during an expedition, this amount is reduced compared to the subsistence and marginalization phases. Plus, monthly prestige up, holding taxes, and development growth are also up as well for everybody involved here. So, is there anyone who can advise me about Greenland? Again, we will end this episode soon after we do a bit more reading on this. So, we'll select this option if you wish to learn the basics on how various mechanics in the colonization of Greenland work. Understanding these may help you and Greenland settlers mutually benefit. Pay close attention, people. Although I do not plan to go to Greenland, but I want to find ways to get involved in the colony to enhance my family's influence. A local notable, Kittil, is planning to move there. Before departing, he visits me and gives me some advice. Right. Your family should establish an estate in Greenland and support the settlers so you can mutually benefit from the colony, such as walrus hunts in Nordsetur, as walrus tusks can be sold for much profit. If you're brave, you can also earn eternal glory by sponsoring expeditions to discover what else lies out there. Inspect each of these icons here. We already mentioned the estates part. Here's support. In order to help the colonization of Greenland to succeed, one thing involved rulers in the Nordic Seas region can do is to take the decision to support Greenland. There are several options on how to support Greenland, from constructing houses of worship to recruiting settlers to go there. Each type of support has different benefits, but all of them will raise either Greenland's resilience or networks. There's also different decisions to support Finland, which instead improves Finland's viability. Nordsetur. Nordsetur is a region in northern Greenland that likely corresponds to modern-day Disco Bay. It is home to significant numbers of walrus. As Greenland exported much of the walrus ivory used in Europe during much of the medieval period, walrus hunts were an integral part of life and society in the Greenland colony. If the colonization of Greenland is still ongoing or has been resolved with a good ending, rulers whose houses have the Greenland state can take the decision to organize a hunting trip to Nordsetur. If you play your cards right, it's a good way to make a lot of gold. Expeditions. If the colonization of Greenland is still ongoing or has been resolved with a good ending, the rulers whose houses have a Greenland state can take the decision to send an expedition to the west. Before an expedition starts, you'll need to select an expedition leader. The expedition chain itself is divided into these 3 episodes, which can have positive, neutral, or negative outcomes. That can be sometimes influenced by your leader's skills. These outcomes, in turn, play a role in whether the expedition succeeds or fails. There are 3 areas you can send expeditions to: Markland, Netherland, Finland. They all benefit, or in the case of Finland, or even hinder, the Greenland colony in various ways. Again, there's so much reading, but if I'm going to tell you a little more, well, actually, can you share more information about Greenland itself? Just give me a moment, I need a drink. Greenland's resources and pressures. The way I see it, Kittil says, as long as Greenland settlers prove their resilience and maintain strong networks with the outside world, they'll weather most resources. There may be further lands of myth and legend out there too, but don't be greedy for glory. Be careful of the viability of settling these lands, as you might waste your time and money if these lands are too remote and have few profitable resources. Keep all this in mind. Who knows what we'll explore and achieve out there in Greenland and beyond. Kittil provides further useful advice regarding Greenland's situation, and I thank him before he departs. Now this is what I was talking about with all these. Here you go. Listen up. Resilience. Resilience is a global value that represents the ability of the Greenland settlements to adapt any changes that might affect their survival and growth. It is one of the 2 global values tied to Greenland, alongside networks. For those involved in the colonization of Greenland, higher resilience has positive effects on a number of mechanics and decisions. In particular, the higher the resilience, the more gold and piety you can get annually from the Greenland estate. Additionally, resilience and networks must be at a high level in order to attain a good ending for the colonization of Greenland. Resilience naturally increases or decreases at somewhat a random rate every year depending on the struggle phase the colonization of Greenland is currently in. It can also be influenced by various decisions, most importantly by supporting Greenland. The maximum amount of resilience can reach is 1,000. Once resilience goes below 100, then there's a small chance that the Greenland settlements will naturally fail. Now the networks. Networks is a global value that represents the connections that the Greenland settlements have with the other regions and groups, including both Europeans and the native peoples of the Americas. These can include political, economic, and cultural ties. It is one of the two global values tied to Greenland alongside resilience. For those involved in the colonization of Greenland, higher networks have positive effects on the number of mechanics decisions. In particular, the higher the networks is, the more gold and prestige you could get annually from a Greenland estate. Additionally, networks and resilience must be at a high level to obtain a good ending for the colonization of Greenland. Networks naturally increases or decreases somewhat at random rate every year depending on the struggle phase on the colonization of Greenland is currently in. It can also be influenced by the various decisions, most importantly by supporting Greenland. The maximum amount of networks can reach is 1,000. If it's low enough in the subsistence and marginalization phases, some decisions can be costlier or even unavailable. Last one, viability. Viability is the global value that represents how appealing settling in Finland is for those involved in the colonization of Greenland. Despite its fame in popular history, the Norse did not stay there for the long term because it was too distant and would have been a waste of resources to be spent on the more profitable Greenland. Thus, it will be a challenge to raise Finland's viability. The main way to raise Finland's viability is, while the colonization of Greenland is active, is through two decisions. Either by sending expeditions to there, or if your dynasty has an outpost, by supporting them. If the colonization of Greenland has been resolved with a good ending, that viability will increase by random, with small amounts each year until it reaches 50, if it isn't above that yet. We live in interesting times, no doubt. Right. There's these phases. So we established that Greenland estate. If that's even confirmed. It's on the house. Unless that's for those involved. Establish a Greenland estate. That these decisions are up there as well, which I could talk a little more about it, but alas, we're going to start running out of time, as I don't want to make it a 2-hour episode just yet. So we'll be talking a little more about the colonization of Greenland, because this episode was about saving up the money and prestige, and then we would switch our focus on, to the exploration of Greenland. I mean, it's not there on the map, but assume it's out there. It's an off-map thing, much like back at CK2 with China. I mean, you can see parts of China as we know today, or talking about the Chinese Emperor and its interactions like they did in Jade Dragon in CK2. But here, this is different. And since I had no experience in playing something that has the struggle mechanic, which instead of a struggle, it's the colonization of Greenland, in which the starting date is the 3rd of March, and the day is the 4th. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will end the episode on that note, as we will talk a bit more about those involved, phases, and among other things that we'll get into for the colonization of Greenland, and as well as putting my money and whatever I need to support, and concurrently improve relations and resume the conquest as the unification of Norway, the first major goal of that series. I have not strayed from that path. We will return to expansion, because we plan on taking all of this and Vestfold, and it should be enough land to create the Kingdom of Norway. All that will happen in the next episode. But until then, so long for now.